Hello, this is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe. Today's video is a discussion I had with Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick, the founder of Investigative Genetic Genealogy, and also the founder of Identifinders International, a company who identifies Jane and John Does and criminals and victims in crime cases. But in this video, what we're doing is we are going to discuss the Nancy Guthrie case. We talked about genetic genealogy, etc., but then we just discussed the case and what we thought happened. And Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick has a very analytical, logical mind, and I think you'll find it interesting. All right. Now, I'm aware that I sniff during the video. I have allergies. I apologize for that. So let's get started on the video right now.
And hopefully they wore gloves. And yes, I think there were two people. I've always thought that.
Yeah, I just think there's one.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
let me show you on my screen. I got this.
yeah, but how could there only be one person?
Yeah, because watch this. All right, so here's this guy, right? And he's walking around. I mean, I don't know if you can see it.
There's a question. After that, we're going to talk about improvements and artifacts and stuff. But come on, why you? Okay, that's the world.
Yeah. Okay, here let me explain it to you. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Why I just think there's one?
Yeah.
All right, look. So here's the house right here, right?
Yeah.
And so you see this guy on camera. I mean, I think there could be two. There's just no evidence that there's two.
Okay.
So the person that you see on camera, he walks through there and he removes the camera because he knows he's going to be parking a car right there. Other than that, he didn't care. He stood right in front of the camera. He was,
Yeah.
he was going to park a car, and after he parked the car there, he left for about 20 minutes to make sure that nobody was notified or police were showing up. So he went back, and I have him kind of just hiding out like over here or something. Then he came back after he saw nobody was coming. Maybe he had a scanner, who knows. Then he comes back over here with his car. So he picked up his car over there and he drove the car over here, pulls it in, and around 2:06 gets out of the car. Then he walks around the back of the house, and when he jumps over this fence, that's when at 2:12 this camera here picks him up, and then he goes inside the house. He gets Nancy, opens the door, and she's still alive. She's coughing up blood as she's coming out, and he's holding, he's got a gun on her, and he's got her right arm, and she's like, and they just make their way to the car that was parked here and leave. So it's really, it's not hard to do, but with one person, but there could be another person.
Yeah.
Bigly.
That Jessica asked, will it be harder to garner information with IgG if the abductor in Nancy's case is of Mexican descent? If it's a mixture, don't even ask the question, right? Because this is Nancy's house and her DNA is all over the place, so it's going to be a mixture. And we really can't do that kind of mixture. The bad guy has to be the major contributor and a clear major contributor. So whether or not he's Hispanic is probably not even an issue right now. That is way down the line. However, it all cleared up and they did get DNA and they did do genealogy. Yes, the Hispanic would be pretty hard to, but not impossible. We've done some and it's not impossible. So anyway, Gray, I wanted to say that you've given me about Nancy Guthrie. I like your explanation. The thing is, I think something happened at the back of the house. That something.
Well, it did.
Yeah.
The guy came over the fence. It set off the motion sensor. He broke the lights, and then he went inside the home.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because I thought. Well, I'll tell you what I thought, but I have to rethink it now. That the guy that came to the front door, somebody went around back and let him in. Went around the back.
I mean, anything's possible. There's just no evidence of that.
Yeah.
And by the way, let's say you're at the front door. Wouldn't you want to take off for a little bit and make sure nobody, like you're setting off an alarm. He could see the camera moving, right? And then he goes into the house and he's in there for 15 minutes. Wouldn't you want to know that nobody was notified? Or it seems like that would.
I tell you, you have explained something, and I understood he was Was he in the house all that time? Or are they doing the time between him looking at the camera and then her pacemaker?
Yeah, they always say this. They go 147 and then 228 is basically the time frame, because 228, her pacemaker's too far from the receiver in the house and she's been removed. But the thing is 147, the camera was disconnected at the front door. So, and then the sheriff said that a camera at 212 picked up motion. And then here's what the sheriff said. He goes, yeah, the camera picked up motion of a person. And he goes, but I guess it could have been an animal. And so that's when I go, okay, boom. He's really in this. And the FBI agent went, oh shit, because he's now admitting that it's an outdoor camera, because why would there be a cougar or something running around inside the home? So it's got to be at 212 is probably the time where another camera in the back picked him up.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Or?
Yeah, it does. And I tell you why it makes sense, because there's this huge amount of time that you've got to, 40 minutes you've got to account for. And standard wise, you'd say, well, they went in the house and they're doing something. But maybe not. Maybe you're right that he came to the front door, he disabled the camera, and he went and he just waited to see if anything happened. He went sort of around the corner, sort of waited. And then he came back, went through the back, and so on. So that time, most of that time, he's actually not there. Nobody is there, and nobody really brought that up. But I'd say that's probably a very interesting explanation.
Well, thank you. I think that actually a lot of people don't say that. That's the theory that I've put out, because I feel like, I take little parts, like somebody said, hey, maybe he didn't go right into the house. And then you just sort of put it together. And then he's only in the house for 12 or 14 minutes, which is more reasonable than saying, oh, wow, I was in the house for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, I'll tell you what, I'm really going to have to maybe discard this theory that he had, the accomplice went around the back. They had walkie-talkies. The accomplice went in and sort of, figured out something or set her up or woke her. She had hearing aids, so she couldn't hear.
Yeah.
So she took those out at night, and so that's what I heard. So then, anyway, she's older. She can't walk very well. So somebody's in the house kind of getting all that organized, and then walkie-talkied him and said, hey, we're okay. We're ready to go. So I was thinking about that, because the front door has not been broken in. It's got the security door.
So you can only come in from the other side, basically.
Yeah.
And so, here's the thing. You can't completely, your theory cannot be, I can't say that that's not possible. I'm just trying to come up with something that seems more.
I like yours a little better. But the question is, why not just go through the back door anyway? Why go into the front door first?
Well, yeah, the reason he went to the front door first is because he's going to be parking his car there, and he knew that camera would film his car unless he removed it. So he went there to remove the camera. He didn't know that the cameras weren't working great, like she hadn't paid her bill. So the only reason he went to that front door was so that his car would not be filmed, because he knew that he was going to be taking her out right there. Because look how close that really is. I mean, when you look at that, her room's right there. You come right out and you're gone. I think her room's right here.
Oh, in the back.
That's her little patio that goes out there.
Yeah.
And so, like, right here is, look how short that distance is from basically the door to here. Now, if you took her out over here, well, first of all, you'd have to drive here, and then you're sort of trapped. You're sort of trapped if you drive back here.
What I'm saying is the accomplice went in the back and then opened the front door, and the guy was waiting, and they took her away. So the car was in front of the house for a few minutes.
Yeah, and the car, that he didn't want the car parked there for 45 minutes. He just wanted it there for like 20, maybe.
The car was not there long.
Right, that's right.
Right, the car was not there long. They came and picked her up and left. Now, whether, he scouted out ahead of time, went through the back, and he did the whole thing, or he had an accomplice to go around the back, the front door was not broken in. You can look at it, and it's fine. Somebody let him in, or he let himself out. The only question is, would they need somebody to carry her? Well, you don't know. I like your idea. Probably not. I thought they may have wrapped her up in a tarp. And then, so the question is what the motive is, and nobody really knows, has figured that out. But they keep saying they might know. Because do you feel, here's April again, do you feel it's possible that there might be touch or saliva DNA from his gloves on the doorknob or inside the house, since he did have the mouth white and then touched it? I'm telling you, honey, if they do, it's such a minor contribution to Nancy Guthrie's own DNA in the house. Just don't even think about it. He didn't leave. Yeah, he had the thing in his mouth, etc. But unless he absolutely, mirrored something, and even that would be a mixture, because Nancy Guthrie's DNA is all over, same as John Benet's DNA. The Ramsey DNA is all over the place.
Yeah, let's see. It's just it's a pretty, it's interesting, like the little timeline element. I mean, they know exactly when the person confronted her because of the heart monitor. It's going to spike dramatically right at the moment.
Well, no, what it does, now that's an open question.
Well, it's not a monitor, it's that machine that's getting her heart rate and shit.
No, wait, she's got a pacemaker, and the pacemaker, independent of wherever she is, the pacemaker is going to work. Now she comes and she has her phone with her. The phone just collects data, and I'm not even sure it's in real time. It collects data and it dumps the data every 12 hours, 24 hours. It's not a continuous heart monitor. So I don't know what happened to that data, but more than likely, it went away or they don't have it. Nobody's really talked about it, but it's not a real time thing. All you know is that it's not connected after a certain point. It's not a real time. If you're having a heart attack, they're going to call the hospital.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is when she's still sitting in the house and she's sleeping and the person walks up to her, it's going to show something on the thing that collects the data in the house. It's going to show a spike in the rate of her heart. Yeah, so they're gonna know the exact time that these people confront, or the person confronted her, or the people.
Well, they might know that, but again, they would remove her, and the fact that they moved her away from the phone and it was too distant at the same time.
Yeah, it's 2:28, so it could be 2:14 or so when they confronted her, and then 2:28 is when she was too far to send any more signals on the Bluetooth.
Yeah. Okay.
So those could be like, I mean, she could have been heart rate increasing and just all over the place for 14 minutes in there, and then she's removed.
Yeah. So let's see what else. Yeah. So I hope they find her. It's going to be pretty tough now. I don't think she's with us anymore. And it's a big mystery why this happened, and if anybody. I think the ransom notes were fake. Just stupid people trying to capitalize on tragedy. He said if bent over the plant with his flashlight on in his mouth and pulled the plant, then both the door and the leaves fell off. And no, don't even think about it. No, the lava might burn the leaves. Just don't even go there. No, probably not. Bent over the plant with the flashlight and pulled the plant and brought it. No, it's too much. It's too complicated. No. So,
I know. Yeah, that's one of the things that people do. They just get this little vision, and they write this long thing that's just so complex, and it's
don't think too hard about that.
Yeah, don't overthink stuff.
No, don't think too hard. No, you look in the house and you swab the doorknob, and he had gloves on. You swab the doorknob. Okay, good luck with that. And then they can say, yeah, but he could have put the gloves on. No, don't. There's so many people messing with that doorknob. I think that they were looking at the neighborhood earlier in the week, or they scouted out the neighborhood to see how things were going. The coming and going, and what is it called? Surveillance. Oh, okay, yeah. Surveillance, and they were.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything. I don't think the jammer or any of the electrical shit. I don't think that's anything at all. I mean, if there was a jammer, why was there clear video? There was clear video. Thanks,
I
Carl.
that's filler. Filler is that's when the jammer and stuff like that come up in the news. That's filler.
Yeah, well, people are saying, "Oh, he's got a jammer," because there is a little. Like, let me show you. Let me see what you think.
There's
I think it's
something in his pocket. I think it's a walkie-talkie in his pocket.
or a scanner. The scanners look just like that. That would make a hell of a lot of sense too, right? A scanner while he's waiting to see if cops are listening.
Yeah.
That there it
The
was.
whole
Right
thing
there.
about holding the hose, yeah, look at that. What is that something sticking out of his pocket?
Yeah, it's like right there. This thing.
Really? Yeah, that's not just the pocket itself. That is like an antenna.
You can see the shine right there. Yeah, it's like there's something there.
It's an antenna. Now, does it look like there's a square thing stuck in the pocket? Because some
Well,
of
it's
it,
hard to see.
yeah,
But like right there's a really good. Look at that right there.
yeah, that's definitely something sticking out. Because I thought it would be a walkie-talkie. Now
It could be. Well, if there's a walkie-talkie, then there likely is another person. If that's what that is.
Yeah. Now,
I would
great.
say.
And later on, when he starts to turn around, I thought I saw that pocket square, something square in the pocket. Like you could see something was in the pocket in the shape of it.
Hey, let me say. Hold on one second. Hey, thanks, Carl, man. You've that's been amazing tonight. Thank you so much.
Yeah, cool. Wow, thank you. Oh, it thinks it's a mapping device. Okay. Well, we don't really know, but throw that in the pile. Now, when he turns around, he's going to turn around. Okay, now the pocket.
See, that's sort of interesting right there. Like, what is this?
Yeah. Now, what is?
That's the same pocket.
Is that the strap to the
Be funny if it's not even a walkie-talkie or anything. It's just there's this little part of a phone. It's kind of out the side that's shiny, and we're all just.
Yeah, I don't know. Look at that. Look at that. There is something there.
Like a strap. Looks like words right there.
I'm wondering if it's a strap on the backpack hanging down. But the thing in the pocket, no, okay, there's something else in the pocket. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, I'm just looking at to see what this is right here.
Okay. I don't know that is interesting. He's got something in his pocket.
Got like a string on it or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I see the string. Okay, never thought of this.
I'm going back over here. Let me.
He's got that flashy stuff on his backpack. The reflectors, and that bothers me. Why does he want those?
They're not actually. Yeah, there's reflectors on the backpack, and that looks almost like lights. They're so bright, but those aren't lights. They're
reflectors. Why do you have reflectors on the backpack?
Well, he probably did. He probably didn't even think through any of that shit. Everything he's got on is cheap. Stuff you could get at Walmart,
Yeah, but you're going to break in a house and you're going to kidnap somebody and you have reflectors on your backpack?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that when
I wonder if you can see that right there. Was that it?
Oh, that's interesting.
That's weird. It's sticking way up. Let me just look at that again. Because it looks way higher at that. See, it's way up there, right? And then it sort of falls in. Wow, that's crazy. Look at that. Look at that. See, and then it sort of falls more into the pocket. But right there it's higher. See that?
Uh-huh.
Because this thing right there is that piece. Because watch how this.
Uh-huh.
See that? Boom, it's right there now. See?
Well, it could have. I mean, it could have just. Oh, you know what probably happened?
Oh, and then it
There it is again. What happened is it's the lip of the pocket. As he moves, the lip of the pocket kind of goes over it.
Up and down, yeah.
It's there, but okay, now go forward. You see, when he reaches out, his coat is covering it. Now keep going. It's gonna.
Yeah, I'm just looking.
The
Yeah.
coat that's moving. Yeah, you see the coat.
Uh-huh.
It's the lip of the pocket that is.
Yeah, it's just kind of in his pocket, and his coat, when he moves up his jacket, it kind of pulls it up higher over the heavier object that's in the pocket. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's happening. So now later in the video, there's something square in one of his pockets. I think it might be the other one. Yeah, something like that.
So let's look at these. Okay, so it's weird because that's the same pocket that we're looking at, but now you can't see that, but you see something sort of swinging over there in there. It's just weird. It's like, what the hell's happening?
I don't know. I heard something that on the news that really,
Oh, look, right there. That's that's the pocket.
Yeah, that's the pocket. Okay, I think there was something in the
weird.
pocket that was getting to me.
Huh. That's weird shit.
Yeah, there's something really, not really kosher there.
Yeah, it's not the clearest video in the world either.
Well, yeah. It's funny how people on the internet just really picked it apart and, did come up with some interesting things.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the thing in his mouth. And then people are saying, like, later on when he goes inside the house, he probably would have taken it out of his mouth. He wouldn't, or, when you have something in your mouth and then it would drip saliva because it's like, man, your mouth's open. But who the hell knows? I mean,
don't think too hard about things like that.
Yeah, it's just, I don't do any, I just go, yeah. I mean, that's just.
Jessica says she agrees with me, not so smart to have the bright little reflectors on the.
Yeah.
And your cursor is right on top of the video. Could you move the cursor? Okay, that's better. That's what I like. People hate when people give a presentation and the cursor's right on top of the PowerPoint. And okay, thank you.
I'll put it right back.
That thing, get rid of it.
Yeah, there's these people that were saying it's not on the video; it's over there. I need it.
Just move it off the screen.
Here's this other thing. Not that one.
Yeah, and those are the blood. The blood is aspirated.
All right, so yeah, that's what I was expirated. But see this right here. Watch this right here. See this? People were saying that that's a cell phone, and I go, no, it's not. It's actually part of the plant because it's right next to the camera. Watch this. So see that plant right there? Watch how it moves with it.
Well, there's some.
I have to go the other direction. Hold on, watch.
Some kind of reflection or something.
See that?
Yeah,
well, no, it's just all it really is I figured it out. Is the plant it's right on the camera itself, and I'll show you why. Watch, and yes, the reflective value.
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but that looks like part of the flashlight to me.
No, I'm talking about this thing right over here.
Yeah, the bright thing, the little bright.
Yeah,
thing.
that's not. It's not because look. See how it's bright over here? That's the same brightness. This just looks bright because it's surrounded by darkness. But this right here is part of that plant. Watch how it moves with it. Watch.
Oh, okay.
Like when I go like this, see how it goes? It'll go up. It went up with the plant there. Down, up, down, up. And that right there, it's actually touching. It's so bright. See this little black spot there? That's the part that's literally touching the screen of the camera.
Okay. All right.
Because you get that, see like right here. See this part up here? That part's touching the lens because it's so close.
Yeah.
And then look how bright this is. It's the same brightness as that.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, that's fair enough.
So people were saying that was a cell phone, but if it was a cell phone, how come it got dim right there?
No, let me tell you. They would have figured it out a long time ago.
Yeah.
You can do geofencing. You guys know about that, right? And but especially in a neighborhood like this where there's really no activity during the night. There's only that one car. He didn't have a cell phone. He had a walkie-talkie, if he had anything at all.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know about scanners. There's a little discussion here about the scanners. He may or may not have had one. And they don't. I'm sure they don't make noise like a jet plane flying over here. I'm sure they're. And even sitting in his car, nobody would have heard the scanner.
Or he maybe went to his car and he listened to it at his car.
Yeah.
Who the hell knows?
You're thinking too hard, guys.
Yeah, I think just the whole, everybody trying to be, a jammer. Ooh, it's so cool. So they only used the jammer at the neighbors' homes, not the one he was going into. And by the way, if he had a jammer, why did he take the camera off? He just turned the jammer on. Hey, everything's good now.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that because it disrupts the video.
They have to turn over every stone. They have to do stuff like that. And it turns out to be fillers. And the neighbors report having an outage at a certain time, and that's fine. You have to go through all of that. It's important. You don't want to.
Yeah.
It turns out a lot of that goes.
Do you ever notice how they always report? The neighbors say there was outages after somebody else said that there was an outage.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're all awake at 2:30, seeing an outage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, there's one credible one that said that their video said unavailable right at that time, which is interesting. So maybe the power that was turned off down the street was an attempt. They didn't know it. They just turned something off and they thought, this is going to do it, but it didn't touch the house they went to. And they didn't have a jammer or anything, so they had to remove the camera and they still went in.
Yeah. And so we don't know. And one thing I did hear, which I thought was pretty interesting, is that the most safe place you can ever feel to be would be in your house, your own house. And the biggest risk a criminal could ever take would be to break into your house. And this guy is taking a big risk. Okay, at face value, breaking into somebody's house or going into somebody's house at 2:30 in the morning. Now, how does he reduce? Number one, he's got to have a real reason for trying to do that. And number two, before he goes, he's going to mitigate the risk by doing certain things. And, one of them is, like Grace said, maybe being around the neighborhood, and just checking it out during the day when it wouldn't be suspicious if there's a car driving past. Doing research in the back in his own time there. My back itches, sorry.
Got a little back scratcher there.
Yes, I do. And my friend gave it to me.
If I was there, I'd scratch it up for you.
Yeah, thank you. I need it too. So then, so the thing is, the guy mitigated the risk. He did not look like he was worried. He walked up. He's doing the thing with the bushes and the flowers. He went in. He did his job. He got out, and it just didn't seem that he was concerned with getting caught or getting seen or getting.
Yeah. And a lot of people overthink he tried to put a plant on there, like he's just some dumb idiot person, and it's like maybe he just thought he goes there, I'm going to be able to deal with it. I really don't even care that much.
Well, the thing is,
and they haven't caught him yet, so
that would be a question of just having a piece of tape to put over.
Yeah. So that means he wasn't planning very incredibly well for that one thing.
Yeah.
But he might have thought, I'm going to take this thing off, but hey, maybe I can put a plant on there first. Maybe that'll work.
Yeah. Well, he just was apparently a little bit confused about the presence of the camera. So that tells me he had not been on the porch before, or he had not really, they have another picture of him without the backpack at some point. So he hadn't really, that was a kind of a detail he had missed or he hadn't thought about. But otherwise, as far as the location of the house and the person in it and the ability to go in the middle of the night and do all this, he seemed to have that, he was not very concerned that he would get caught. And that's a high risk thing to go into someone's house in the middle of the night. So you have to ask yourself, he was prepared. Now, what was in the backpack?
Yeah, well, that was one of the things that when I had Ashley Banfield, I interviewed her, and she said, that's why it's not an abduction for ransom, because there was a backpack filled with something. And I was thinking, well, what is that? I literally said, well, why, why, what does that have to do with anything? I mean, it's like maybe there was stuff in there for that,
Well, I thought it might be a tarp or something. Because, he's got his jacket, he's got all that stuff on, so... it's hard to believe he just arrived with a backpack full of random stuff he happened to pick up at the grocery, and forget to unload. He sort of got dressed for the occasion. He had a backpack. The backpack had something in it that he needed to use. Why else would he be carrying the backpack?
Yeah. I just think that, like, when people say, well, it can't be this. See, the backpack isn't one of the things that reverses what I think. The problem is, in this case, there's a lot of those things. Like, you go like this. Okay, was it a robbery that went wrong? Well, why the hell would you remove her body then? You would just leave. You wouldn't do that. Okay, it's an abduction for ransom. Now, if that went wrong, so then if that's true, and the first two ransom notes that they actually thought were legitimate, why would you send one to TMZ? Well, then you go, well, forget the ransom notes. All it was a ransom that went wrong. They weren't able to do proof of life, and they just said, we got to get the hell out of it.
Well, you don't send a ransom note to the media.
Right, it's stupid. Well, you'd send it to just, if you say anything, we're going to do, you threaten, if you mention it.
You talk to in fact, you usually tell the ransom note says to the family, don't contact the media. That's the first thing they say.
Right. So then you just go, forget the ransom notes. So then it's a case where they went in there to get her to do a ransom, and then she dies,
Yeah.
and they just wash their hands with it and just go up and, unfortunately probably buried her body somewhere in a desert,
Yeah, it went
and
on.
that's it.
Well, it's like I thought for a minute maybe, he didn't know who lived there. He saw it was an older woman living there, and she was alone. She couldn't hear. Obviously, you could watch her and see mobility problems. I thought about that for a while. And then in case he didn't know who she was, and he goes ahead and kidnaps her, and then he realizes it's Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's mother. Oh, he's got a big problem on his hands. Suddenly he's got, a hot property where he knows what happened. If he has a family or accomplice or anything who knows what's going on, there's $1 million reward out there. He's got a big problem on his hands. But if he did it by himself, then, nobody knows. And she died and he got rid of her, or her body somewhere. Nobody knows. Then the $1 million is going to go unclaimed.
Yeah. I just think, and it's also like this, people are probably willing to risk not getting caught on a ransom when somebody's alive, because then you can always just go, here you are, and they get 10 to 15 for doing that.
Yeah.
When you have a person that gets killed, and now it's a felony murder in the commission of a kidnapping for ransom, she dies, now you can get the death penalty for that.
Yeah.
You're definitely life without parole, so nobody's willing to risk that by communicating.
Yeah, that's it. And that also supports the idea he did not have accomplices. Or if the accomplices, he's afraid of the ransom has not been collected. So either he did not have accomplices and nobody knows, or he was ordered to do this, say, by the mafia or something like that, and nobody's going to collect the reward because they're afraid of the mafia, something like that.
Yeah. And I guess there's another theory out there that it was somebody that was sort of infatuated with Savannah and just wanted to hurt her, so killed the mom, which is, that's a possibility. I just think that's least likely out of but although definitely possible. Yeah,
it could be because she reported on a story that he disagreed with. I think, she was really the target. She was really that's because, who would just target Nancy? It's really Savannah or her family.
Yeah, well, that's what I always say on here. I go like this. The reason that these people were here was to abduct Nancy Guthrie because she's the mother of Savannah Guthrie.
Yeah.
That's why they went there, and that's what I say. Now, that doesn't mean that's absolutely what it is, because it could be a random one. It just doesn't seem very likely, because what are the odds that this 84-year-old that was abducted just happens to be the mother of somebody that's worth, $60 million or whatever the hell. Yeah,
well,
that's
I'd say it's non-zero, because coincidences happen. Non-zero, but not very likely. So somebody said, what about body snatchers? I said, don't even think about it. This is an 84-year-old woman. Body snatchers, no. You're thinking too hard. You're thinking too hard.
Yeah, that's just, and the three things that I think are likely, not likely, three things that are possible, like something that's, on the order of, the most likely one is the ransom for, the abduction for ransom that went wrong. The second one is, believe it or not, is that there's these people that do sexual assault on 84-year-olds. It really does happen, but now with the DNA advancements, they're not willing to leave the body sitting there, so they had to get her out the front of the house. We have many cases like that, so it's a possibility. It's just not very strong. And then the last one is, a stalker type person regarding Savannah, who wants to make Savannah feel shitty by doing something to her mom. Look at Bengal he said, I saw someone see, this is overthinking right there. Look at that. Suggesting organ harvesting.
No.
Organ harvesting. Yeah, they went to get the heart. What a ridiculous. When you're 84 years old, you don't really have a lot of great organs, you know.
And,
It's,
and she has a heart condition. She's got a pacemaker. No,
right.
no, come on, stop thinking. You know, really, stop it. I had
Yeah.
my niece said, "Oh, I think it's connected to Bill Clinton and his wife and the Jeffrey Epstein thing."
Oh, yeah, the Epstein shit. Yeah, I
I
heard that
really
one.
don't see
God.
that. You know, I really don't see that. You know,
It's ludicrous.
and
The
I
guy at
said,
the front door, does he look like that?
if you have no, but just some political connection, you know. And I said, if you have, you know, evidence, then you have the responsibility to go to the Pima County Sheriff's Office and give it. And if you don't have evidence, then stop talking about it.
Usually it's the Occam's razor wins the day most of the time.
Yeah, it's really a simple. Whatever happened was very simple. And no, there's no DNA. No, he didn't spit on the floor, you know, or on the. He didn't drip saliva when he was, you know, had the thing in his mouth. You know, he didn't. All the DNA on the gloves, taking them off. Don't even. Don't even. So, you know, I think Ray could be correct. Where if it's one guy, he probably went there to check out, see what happened, go away, sit around, you know, see if any police came, and no, but nothing happened. And then either that or it's two people, one person going around the back, you know, getting in there, kind of collecting whatever they wanted, checking on her, getting in the house, calling him. And he was the second guy to come with the car, and the car would only be there a few minutes. They'd pull her out, take. But I do agree on several points. Somebody went around the back and they got her out the front door. They did not break in the front. They went through the back.
Yeah. Yeah, so I can't say that that it's not possible that there was a person, and maybe the guy that we see at the front door, he got the car, and then the other one comes to the door and say, okay, it's ready to go, and they both come and get her. But you would think there'd be some footprints in her blood if there was a second person. Now, if you're walking to her side, as she's dripping blood, you're not going to step on your own blood because you're moving.
That would be either way. You know, she's bleeding, and he's holding her up, walking. So it could be the person, number one, or accomplice. You know.
True, like he could have stayed in the car, and the door opens up, and he's ready to go, and the accomplice gets her to the car.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, could be. It could be. So I'm saying that there are common threads here. The question is it the same guy that went around the back and got in and, you know, took her out the front door? She was out the front door. She was either walked out or carried out the front door, and probably walked out the front door. So, and so the question is, you know, is it, like you said, somebody parked in the area and just saw it, checked out, you know, went up to the porch, checked it out, went to the, you know, to park the car, just waited a few minutes, nothing happened. And then, and, you know, it could be that he didn't know that she didn't pay the subscription. So you're right. It could have been he was just testing it. And
he wouldn't know that, right? Like he wouldn't know that she.
Right. He wouldn't know that. So he went and he waited to see if anything happened, and then went back through the back and got her. That's one pretty interesting possibility, because then it explains that time, the amount of time that went by between the initial door camera and then when the pacemaker was disconnected. That explains that. And my own explanation about somebody going around the back, and then letting him in through the front door, that you still have a bunch of time you haven't accounted for yet. Dead time in between the initial approach to the front door and the disconnection to the pacemaker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, you've got. Well, the 212 is when another camera got activated.
Yeah, and that would explain that too.
Like that would be, to me, there's a camera right in the backyard, right where the door is that apparently was wide open.
Yeah. So that the common thing is somebody got to the back of the house and got her out the front, and there was a vehicle waiting in the front.
Yeah, I was able to build this image right here just by taking parts of all the ones where you can't see the person's over here and over here. So I put it together. So this is what it would look like without, like, just earlier in the evening when nobody was there, right?
Yeah.
So look where right here is where that car would park.
Yeah.
So it's just right there on camera. And you wouldn't want anything like that because he took the time to do balaclava, the gloves, all that
No,
crap.
he's not going to park. And he
Yeah.
didn't know whether the camera was running or not.
Yeah, he wouldn't know. So he's got to remove it because they're going to park there for easy access to get rid of it.
There's another thing. Why was he surprised by the camera? I mean, he walked up. He didn't seem like he knew there was a camera, right?
Yeah, it seems like he went up there maybe to, like, he knew he might be like going to remove it, but then he thought, well, maybe I can just put some plants on it. Maybe that won't scare, you know.
It influences the car, though, because the position of the car. Because, like you said, your theory is he parked somewhere else. And then
Yeah, first. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's surprised by the camera. He didn't know about the camera.
No, yeah, well, he went to the door to see, and then he sees the camera. He's removing the camera because eventually he's going to park there. Here,
Yeah.
let me, yeah.
That's the question: is why did he park there in the first place?
Because, well, you see, there's that one shot of him like this. That's a good question, but this one right here.
Yeah, that was.
He doesn't have the backpack, so maybe that's earlier. So he doesn't have the backpack, etc. So that could have been earlier, and he sees, oh shit, there's a camera there, and he just said, I'll deal with it late, you know, when I get there, see what I can do, whatever. You know, just that wasn't a big deal. Maybe he didn't have tape with him, so he had to come up with something else because he didn't know it was there from other surveillance trips that he took.
Oh yeah, I do think that's right. Whoever, one or two people, they had a surveillance. They went around and they checked at various times, you know. And the blood splatter is aspirated blood.
Or I guess it's expirated is what I actually thought it was the term. Aspirated is like when you breathe in blood and then
so expirated then.
Yeah, but yeah, it's right there. But yeah, see, like I had this. There was a person on Megyn Kelly's show, and she's like a blood spatter expert, and she said, "No, that's satellite." She goes, "Yeah, see the blood drops there? That's satellite blood." And I looked it up. Satellite blood is when a drop of blood hits and little tiny particles of blood. That's bull crap. That's bull crap. Look at this. Right here is totally concentrated. It's a cough, and then look how it goes way over there. Do you think a little drop of blood is going to go bing and just go flying all over the? It's ridiculous.
This is Michael Baden's opinion that is blood when somebody expirates.
Yeah, exactly.
It blows out with air in it, and the blood drops have empty centers. Also, that's air. That's air from the expiration.
Oh, cool.
It's air. So
so that's interesting because I mean we were saying that on the first night, like the first time we saw this. That's what I said. Hey, this is expirated like Jodi Arias, and it still isn't really. Amazingly, people don't bring it up like the news channels. They don't. It's really important, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got a person that's alive coming out the door. They seemed like they carried her out like a burrito, you know?
Well, you know, you do say she was alive when she walked out the door.
Yeah.
Somebody points out maybe he had the plants to try and improve his grip to pull the camera off.
Yeah, some people think he was using the vine to pull it off or something.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, maybe. Yeah, it's all right. You can throw that in there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this whole thing was, if we look at it like this, he went there to remove the camera. And so whether or not he goes, well, I don't want to touch it with the gloves, you know, I'm just going to grab this thing and pull it off. Whatever, right? If we want to look at it like, what a dummy. He was trying to, like, what if he wasn't trying to block the camera? It just looked like that because of the way he was manipulating the vine, right? And then he's not as dumb. He's just somebody who was trying to remove it using something else, right?
Yeah, well, and you know, then that begs the question, did he know it was there or not? So, and it's funny, they said the other picture without the backpack has no timestamp. Not sure I believe that. It's got to have a timestamp. All electronic stuff has timestamps. Sneeze expiration can mimic.
Not in this case. Not in this case. That's not what that can't be what that is.
Yeah, it can't be a gun. It can't be a gunshot.
Yeah. The way it's concentrated like that, there actually be the bullet would hit the ground right there.
Yeah.
because it would have had to go out your front of your face and then like that. Forget it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it'd be a lot more blood, and it would be all over the place. That was enough blood. Somebody coughed up blood or sneezed up blood, and there it went down. That was that amount of blood. If you shot somebody, it's all over. And you have more than, just a little circle of blood. You may have even bone fragments.
Yeah, let's see. We've got.
And after she did that, then there's blood that dropped to the car. Yeah, they just pulled up with a car, put her in, and that was it. The only thing I have that bothers me about your theory, Gray, is that if you went around the back and he went in to go get her from the back, and he had to be in the house a lot longer to get her up.
Not really, 14 minutes. Because look at we got 212. The camera in the back of the. Let me show you again.
No, I didn't finish. The risk there is having the car in front of the house unattended for 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's a lot less than 47 minutes, though, right?
No, but if they had an accomplice, somehow maybe a combination of our theories is right. If they had an accomplice, then
you could just say ready to go, and he pulls it up.
Right, and he pulls up, puts her in the car, and they leave.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And that fits with me a little bit better. So it could be the accomplice went over the back wall, and then he kind of got the 15 minutes to get her out, and the guy at the front door was there much earlier. So, but I think maybe it's the same thing. Maybe they did scope out the house, took the camera down, and then the accomplice went through the back while he drove the car up, and they put her in and they left.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if there's another person. There's just no evidence that there is one, because everything that was done could be done by one person, and all we see is one person.
Yeah.
Now, was there another person? It absolutely could be another person, and what you just said makes sense. Would you want your car unattended for 14 minutes?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe he's got a walkie-talkie, and he's sitting in the car, and he goes, "Hey, I'm ready to go," and then he pulls up, boom, they're out of there,
Yeah.
That actually kind of makes sense.
Yeah. And somebody said, I wonder if they punched her in the nose. You don't punch an 84-year-old lady in the nose because you don't have to. Because she tried to resist. Listen, an 84-year-old woman is trying to resist. You don't punch her in the nose. You pick her up and you carry her across the room, or you just hold her really close.
Yeah. Well, they're probably wondering why she's bleeding a little bit from the nose.
Oh, I see. Well, it could be could have been part of a heart condition. Could have been.
And she's also on blood thinners, so it's probably easier to bleed. And, you'd probably just even if it was like barely something on her nose, it might bleed a lot more.
Rising blood pressure, even more likely if one's on blood thinners. That's probably what happened. It was just some not incidental, but they didn't punch her. They didn't have to. Something else happened. You don't know, but. Anyway, anything you come up with is only a theory right now, although some theories are better than others.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when you get too detailed into like a description. Hey, it's dark. He drops her arm and he stumbles and fell and broke it. Okay, I mean, geez. We don't know. We don't have any idea why she hurt her nose. We can come up with 1,000 reasons. Oh, he threw a golf ball across the room and it bounced up and hit her. Oh, it hit her in the nose. She walked and she stumbled and we don't know why.
Stop all that foolishness. Yeah.
It's just those kind of things we don't know.
Yeah, it's it's a lot of things. I know I had a friend who was like 95, maybe 94, and she lived out in Riverside, and she was invited to go for Mother's Day to a friend's house because her daughter lives some distance away, and she said, "No, I just feel like staying home." And then that night she saw him in the news that the son had come to Mother's Day and killed everybody. So that happened. It really happened. Another neighbor of hers that was also maybe 80 or 90 got dropped off. Her family picked her up and they went out to eat or something. Came back, they watched her go in the house and they never saw her again. They found her car abandoned on the way to Las Vegas.
Yeah, we actually, I don't know, about over a month ago, we looked up other similar cases on newspapers.com and found like 5 of them, but there was one really interesting one. It looked very similar. Like, but this lady was like 70 or so, and the guy came into the home and was abducting her. She was trying to abduct her, and her daughter just happened to show up.
Oh,
And this guy turns out to be somebody that was working on a construction site or at her house a year before, but planned it, and he was abducting her for sexual, really crazy shit,
Yeah, no, but
So, I mean,
that's true. And they had construction down the street. They are
yeah.
people.
Well, it's right here. It's funny. A guy called in my show the first 4 days and said, "Hey, have you seen that construction right over here? It's right there." I mean, it's literally like, here's her house, the driveway, right there. But this is 2 years ago. When they were completed, I don't know, but this is February of 2025.
I know that I was out there talking to people about that.
Like, if you go to November, it looks like it's already done of 2024, right? And then there's a February, and there's still construction vehicles, the same red truck that you can see in another February shot right there.
Yeah, yeah. It's I think that this is about as much information. But you know what? It's interesting when you do a case like this. A lot of people talk about it on the internet. A lot of people overthink it. But it is kind of interesting how people come up with a lot of the same conclusions. All the extra garbage stuff like, he punched her in the nose.
Yeah. Well, there's certain people that come up with the same conclusions.
I'm saying that some stuff doesn't matter, and you say, do they punch her in the nose? Whatever. That is blood that has been expurated, but
right.
As time goes on, people do come up with the right explanation. I mean, do come up with logic as well as crazy stuff.
Well, it's usually if you hang out on this channel. I mean, it's amazing if you go that's all they peddle is the crazy stuff. So it's not as common as you think. It's, but in this case, all you got to know is this: is when the person is when Nancy's leaving the home, she's bleeding from likely her nose area, and she's still alive. That's it. Like, how she got the bloody nose is almost absolutely irrelevant, to be honest with you.
Right.
It's really just saying, hey, she's alive when she's coming out the door. That's a clue to help us know that gives more credibility to the abduction for ransom theory. It removes the burglary gone wrong theory, because she's not dead or anything. There's no reason to take her out of there. You would just get the hell out of there. You got your balaclava on. Nobody knows who the hell you are. You leave, right? Yeah. If she's dead, you might make an argument, because however they killed her might have led to identifying. But but
I'm saying too that let's see, what was I going to say? That I forgot what I was going to. Oh yeah, the burglary. Usually a burglar gets in your house, they rip the house open. They take stuff out the closets, out the drawers, they dump it everywhere. That's not what happened.
Yeah.
Not what happened.
Yeah. Somebody asked in here, can a face be generated with a DNA sample? Yeah, they use Paramount snapshot. That's not accurate whatsoever. Thank you very much.
Awful. Somebody wrote me. You know what they said? Somebody wrote me, says, why don't they generate that face with DNA and use facial recognition to come up?
Well, if they had that, you'd be doing genealogy, right?
Yeah, I said, hey, first of all, you can't do the face. Forget it. It's sexy. It's flashy. It's worthless. All right. No, it's not entirely worthless, but doesn't have the abilities they advertise. Let's put it that way. And then,
the part that works seems to be good is the freckles and skin tone is pretty good, right? But other than that, a lot of people look like that. Yeah.
So the thing is, you can't, and then facial recognition is not that sharp anyway. And so what you have is a face generated by DNA that has hair color, eye color, skin tone, freckles. And you're going to do facial recognition on that? You're not, because God, you're going to get 1 trillion people. So I don't know if I don't think it'll be solved in the near term, but it might be. It might be, and I know they're still working on it. Now they're going through the heavy lifting, with everybody else in the neighborhood. What did everybody else see? They trying to work on the motive, but it seems like it's a vacuum. except maybe talking to Savannah, is there anybody that you remember that had threatened you or that tried to reach out to you in the wrong way? Is there anything you can remember that happened?
Hmm.
They're trying to go over a lot of the hard stuff now. Easy, quote unquote, clean the crime scene, pick up DNA, the gloves. They're trying to do all that. They've done all that. Now they're doing other things.
Yeah, it seem like though, like somehow a DNA profile was left somehow at that house.
It was, but it's not buried under Nancy Guthrie's DNA.
Yeah, maybe that's what it
You
is.
use a door to go into her bedroom. She touched that knob 50 times a day, or 50 times more.
But he did have gloves on, but he had to touch the glove to put it on. There's got to be some sort of, I don't know. It just seems like there's got to be something.
I know, but there's so little underneath Nancy's own DNA. She may have had the other workers in the house. She may have had friends over. Their DNA's everywhere.
Oh, I just thought of something for the to bolster that it's just the one person again. See, when he was at the front door, he had the backpack, the gloves, the gun, and everything. So why would he be the one driving the car? Wouldn't he more likely be the one that went in the house because he had the backpack and all that?
Oh yeah, that's interesting. I bet you. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, he still could have had somebody come with the car.
Right. There could have been but he might be the one that did the sole entry.
Yeah.
Had to remove, and there was another guy driving the car.
Yeah, other guy parked around the corner. Waiting. And to me that's more interesting because if he had somebody else waiting in the car, then he could go in through that back door, like you said, come to the front, say, "Hey, I'm ready." They could pick her up and leave. I don't feel comfortable having a car parked in front of the house for 15 minutes like that.
Right. And I definitely wouldn't want to, like in this scenario, I wouldn't want to ever park right back here because if a cop car shows up, you're trapped. You cannot get out of there. If you're right there, at least you could try to get out this way or this way. Like there's a way to get moving. But I don't think you'd want to be parked deep into the driveway at any given point in time.
Yeah. So what you think he was parked somewhere else or on the street?
Well, I can show you this. I made an actual. It's pretty cool. Watch.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see.
So I took this 3D. I actually have this site that I can download the 3D material from Google Earth, and so it's like this, right? So here I'm going to play it. So let's say he parked right over here. Just it's on the side street. This is her street coming up right here. And this is him, probably walk through the wood, whatever. I don't really care how he walked there. It's just a representation. So he comes down. This is right around like 140 something, 144 or 5.
And
then he goes, and he's walking. Then he goes inside there, and then he removes the camera. So that's what he's doing right now, where he removes the camera. Then he exits because he doesn't know if somebody got alerted to it, so he's going to wait and see. So he goes back to where the car was parked. And it might probably takes 4 minutes to walk to the car. I don't know where he parked the car. I'm just throwing out a random place here, but it was an interesting place, to be honest with you. You can't see back, behind, or forward. So let's say he stays there for about 20 minutes, right? Then after that, 20 minutes is up. He then pulls out of there. Sorry for the jerky animation there and the no spinning wheels. But he drives around. And then he pulls into the driveway, just like this, comes around, and then parks the vehicle. Then, after this is probably like 2:06 or so. Then he gets out of the vehicle. It's still playing. It's just kind of killing time.
It's hard to...
Yeah, then he gets out of the vehicle, and there he is, a little sphere, going around the back of the house. And then eventually he'll jump over this fence over here, which is just coming up. And then right when he jumps over the fence, the camera takes a shot of him at 2:12. Then he breaks the light. Then he goes inside of the house. And then, he's in the house.
Broken light. I didn't know about the broken light.
Oh, yeah, there's a floodlight at the door that was broken.
That night?
Well, they don't know when exactly. We can't. I'm just assuming it was that night. It could have been another night, like he's preparing.
But it didn't.
Right. And so he's in there and he's abducting Nancy, and then he takes Nancy out to the waiting car that he left there, which was there for, 12, 14 minutes. And then drives away.
Okay.
So I think it's something like that. But however,
I agree. It's something like that. The only concern I have is having that car there for 15 minutes.
I think it's a good point.
Yeah, I think that whoever did this, the guy went to the porch. He took out the camera. He went away. You're right. I never thought about that. He went away. Somehow he was doing something else. He went through the back door. He came out the front door. He radioed. Maybe that's a walkie-talkie. He radioed the accomplice. I have her. I'm on the way out. And the accomplice came with the car and picked him up and left.
Yeah. But like in this case, if it's this guy and he removed it at 147, what did he do for 20 minutes? Just kind of hide somewhere? Maybe he went back to where the guy in the car was just to hang out for 20 minutes. Right, because they were both going to have to take off together anyways if a cop was showing up, right?
Yeah, right. So he went back to the car and maybe they had a scanner, I don't know. But they sat there just to see if anything happened. This is probably just... the first part is like a little prep, to take the camera out or to check things out. Then you have a second part when they are waiting to see if anything happened. And the third part when somebody went through the back, got her and brought her to the front and they left. This was done very quickly. They didn't hang around in the house, you're right, for 40 minutes. That would be crazy. They in the house, that was the object of why they were there, to take her.
See why me and her think the same. That's what I've always said. And people get like, oh, great. It's like, I just say they went there to abduct Nancy Guthrie because likely she's the mother of Savannah Guthrie. And then I think it's abduction for ransom that went wrong. And then, that's an extra theory part, right? But the part that we know is for certain is... I mean, not for certain, but like 99.999% is that they went there to abduct Nancy Guthrie. Right. That's why they took the camera off so they could put the car there to come out the front door with her,
So you think he knew the camera was there?
I think he knew it was there at that moment. Can you
run that video? I want to see if I look at it and I believe I just want to see if from the beginning. Okay.
Yeah. Now, that's the very first shot right there. And by the way, just to let you know, see how it skipped right there? Yeah. That's literally a second later. Look at his right foot. Watch. See where it's planted right there?
Yeah.
Now look at the next shot. Is that one? It didn't move. Yeah. His foot. So it's the same moment in time, just a half second of missed footage.
Okay. And they have nothing before that to see where he came from?
Not that we're aware of.
Okay. He puts his hand up like that to block the camera.
He's trying to remove the camera right there because the doorknob's over here.
He's trying to prove it. I see. He's just not blocking it. He's trying to remove it. He's got his hand on the top. He's trying to pull it off the holder.
So it could be that he was trying to pull it off, and then maybe he is trying to go, well, it's not really coming off as easy as I like. Maybe I'll just block it with something. I mean, it could be that simple.
And he's saying, I don't want to take my gloves off.
So maybe he is like looping it up there, and he's trying to... Yeah,
maybe he's using that to try and pull it or weasel it off with a stick.
Right.
Okay.
And then there was this one, that was from a different time.
Yeah, I don't know why. They should have more than this.
These are thumbnails, these things. See this one here? That's a thumbnail.
Yeah, they're not releasing some of the stuff they have. So he could have already known about the camera. Okay, just let me see it. Run it. Just run it.
Okay, I'll do this part again.
Yeah. So, run the little video.
Yeah, it's going to play. It's just right after this. That's like, I think that didn't play the beginning part.
Yeah, I don't think he's blocking. I think he's trying to get rid of it. So
that's what I think too. I think he's just there.
That is the reason he went to the porch to get rid of it.
Yep, he went to the porch to get rid of it, knowing they're going to park there. And then here's something that's interesting, and too.
He knew there was a camera.
Right. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And then, like when you look at this video, let me find the one that's far. Yeah, look, there's blood on this tile right there. So if you look at it, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's on the 5th tile, and there's even some I've seen even on the I think the next one, but there's 5th tile in. So if you look at this video right here, this one. Okay, so let me just see what count. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So the 5th tile section is right there. So look at the Nancy made it all the way to like right there. See this? She was right here when she was removed. Had there been a camera there, you'd see somebody with her this far out, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of sort of interesting to see that. I mean, she actually was able to, you know, she was alive and then dripped some blood, not a lot, all the way to this area. And then they found some more down the path. Fox News did.
Yeah. Well, that's clear what happened. Now, you know, that's just if you really think and like you analyze. No, I think what we are talking about is probably what happened, or it's close to what happened. There's always going to be some open, like we don't know if there's one person, two persons. There's evidence that there could have been two. There could have been two.
Well, I think this was a really actually kind of a productive, more logical conversation that we just had. That it kind of really got to, you know, stuff that made sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I do think it was targeted, or I do think it was a intentional abduction because of, you know, what we said. You know, taking the camera out the car, making sure nobody saw the car. You don't do that if you're a burglar. You know, and also, you know, the fact, like I said, if he came around the back, came in, took her, and left, that's it. That's very simple. You know, it's not you come in, pull drawers, and you take stuff out of closets. You look in shoe boxes. You look for stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's very simple. You come in, you take the woman, and you leave. And I think that's what happened. You know, that other camera at 212 or whatever, you know, 15 minutes. That's all you need, because you have to get her up. It's going to take you a moment or two to get her up. She's walking. She's awake. So that takes a couple of minutes. You know, she can't move. She can't hear. So it takes a couple of minutes, let's say 5 minutes, to get her out of bed. You know, if you, you know, if I'm there, or a younger person, that goes a lot faster. Oh, you jump up, you drag them. But here's a woman, and maybe they didn't mean to hurt her, but they're trying to get her out of bed. They're not trying to hit her on the head and kill her. They're trying to get her out of bed. They're abducting her.
Yeah.
Every day, loosely.
And I guess we don't know the precise time that even though they set the camera off at 2:12, like what time they actually, or you know, the person made it into the house.
Yeah. So
you know, because they had to break in. You know.
Right. You have a few minutes, a minute or two, or to take care of that. Then you have a minute or two to get to her bedroom. So
right.
That consumes a few
2:16. You know, you're at 2:16 now, and 2:28. You're out she's already far enough away where she's not communicating, or you know, so her pacemaker is not communicating.
I did research how far that can be, and I never really came up with an answer. You know, I would say 10 feet is probably.
I got like 10 to. I was doing. I think I did it on ChatGPT or something. It was like 10 to
10 feet or so.
10 to 30. So it's kind of varying. I mean, it's Bluetooth.
Oh, remember, she walks slow, and they're not trying to kill her. They're just trying to get out the house. So it's not like you going to the front door and knocking. You're actually walking with somebody who cannot walk. So that's, you know, that takes a few minutes. So you can really add that up if you wanted to. You know, you get her out, you get to her room, you get her out of and maybe you get in the house, you look around a little bit, you know, to make sure nobody else is there. You know, you get to the room, you get her up, and you get her out to the front door. That's not going to take 2 minutes. That's going to take, 10. Let's say at most 10. But then you have, you know, the coming in the back, and then she's actually a distance away before it disconnects.
Yeah.
So you know what? How far is her door to her bedroom or her bed? How far is the bed from the front door? It's probably like 15 feet, something like that.
That could be. Her window's right over here, and her bed is like right over in this area. So if I went like this, that distance right there is already 24 feet, and the front door is over here. So that actually the 228 could be before she's even left the house.
Yeah, that's probably right. And you think she went through the back window or through her bedroom window?
I think, well, what they're saying is that she went through this door back here, right there. See this door right here? And there's a light, there's a floodlight that was broken right there, and this door apparently was wide open.
Oh,
So that's quite a ways then, right? Because then you're way over here, and then you're sort of making your way through. Maybe you don't even know what room she's in, right? I mean, you don't know.
right. So they don't know they may not have known the layout of the house. I agree.